Hey, everybody, and welcome back to ElonGate, the social impact movement powered by crypto. My name is Alex, and I am joined by an incredibly special guest, a legend in the crypto world, Anndy Lian. Andy, how are you?
Hi, Alex. I'm good, man.
Yeah, I'm so glad to have you here. It's 6 p.m. where I am. What time is it for you?
6 a.m., man. 6 a.m.
6 a.m. Well, they
Yeah,
say the early bird gets the worm. So thanks for getting up bright and early on this morning with us.
no problem. No problem. It's my pleasure, man.
Yeah, I want to. I'm so excited to dive into it with you. I want to learn all about where you've come from and your journey in crypto, in social impact, and your storied career. So, can you just give me just a brief intro on kind of the highlights of what you've been up to recently?
Well, recently, I mean, if you look at the my LinkedIn profile, I'm still the advisory board member to Hyundai DAC. That is a blockchain arm for the Hyundai car. Then I have also recently joined the Mongolian Productivity Organization as the Chief Digital Advisor. So I give them advice on a national level on how to digitize the country, how to bring in more digitized products, into the country. Anyway, before that, I was actually the only blockchain advisor with this Asian Productivity Organization. Um, the, we have a membership to 22 countries. All former membership, former alliance. Back then, Mongolia was one of the country that is very actively supporting the blockchain initiative. So that's the reason why I'm with them. Other than that, I'm also with an association called the Esports Association. I'm the chairperson for their Singapore chapter. Esports is just esports, but what we are trying to do is to convert, and tell people more about esports and how they can become a pro gamer. Other than that, I'm also a chairperson for a board of an exchange that is called Big One, BIG.ONE. They are also working hard, in the English space. Right now, they are the top 30 on coin market cap. So I definitely see that we will move up in rank, as we move on, in the next half of the year. So this is what I'm doing. Other than that, I constantly try to give back as well. So we do charitable work in Singapore. And anyways, I'm stuck in Singapore, so we on a weekly basis, we give out staple food. We give out bento sets, to those people who need them. So this has been ongoing very actively, at least for the past 2.5 years. Yeah. So this is what I'm
Wow.
doing. Yeah. And of course, I work full time for Twitter unofficially.
It really just seems, yeah, you work full time for Twitter. Yeah, me too. It seems like innovation is core to really everything you do, which is really great. Um, how did you first sort of get turned on to crypto and really started viewing the blockchain as kind of the next evolution of all these things? And what's your story there?
For crypto, I think it is more in the early 2000s. Back then, I also invested in different companies on the side. More like a private equity. So we actually use cryptocurrency to buy accounts. In the gray market. Because whenever we talk about marketing, it's not always about advertising and so forth. You need to have tons of accounts, like Facebook accounts and so forth. So back then, we first encounter is through such a medium. Then all this while, I just treat it as a form of credit, until in about 2016, where I realized that, the underlying technology blockchain that is putting everything together is very interesting, So I knew about this technology through a closed door talk, with a pharmaceutical company. And then the long story short is that at the end of the whole talk, I realized that blockchain technology can help to reduce um, the fake medicine or medical supplies in the market. It
Wow.
helps to do a lot more. So that's where I started putting more time into blockchain. Sold away some of my old businesses, and then going going full steam, on the blockchain space. So ever since then, I've not looked back. Do a lot more in 2018, 19, and then right now, So that's the backstory.
I mean, I think a lot of people are really understanding more than they did a year ago the potential that blockchain can have in so many different applications, like you said. What would you, uh, how would you describe kind of that untapped potential? I think there's even more potential than people even realize now. What do you think?
In terms of the technology, when it is fully understood by the various stakeholders and so forth, I think that the technology can be part of your life almost 24/7. To be honest, it can
Yeah,
become a very much automated and trusted system. Fully
right.
automated and trusted system. I mean, if you look at the blockchain space, a lot of them, they talk about being anonymous, totally decentralized and so forth. But the other on the other side of things is that you could be totally automated. The space that you're operating is going to be automated. So I think that would be the full potential of things. And again, if you take a more recent example like a DeFi or the NFTs, for example, NFT especially, it helps to gel people together. It gets the old traditional guys who are perhaps into the art scene, for example, they start to understand what blockchain is about. How can they transact, using a form of cryptocurrency, and also tapping out to global communities. So these are some of the things that is a byproduct, in some ways. But that whole journey itself, is putting up a big ecosystem for our future. We are really
Yeah.
changing how the whole environment is going to work on. COVID-19 as well, gave us a big boost, because right now we are stuck. We're not traveling. Everything is going fully digital. So I think all these things are come to a small conclusion on my end, is that that's going to be the future. Like yourself, I mean, for ElonGate as well. What I do see about the project, or the entity itself, is that you are becoming the pioneer, in the charitable space, right?
Right.
You're doing things that in the past, people try to do, but they have failed because they are not global, right? So if you are a global charitable organization, you can really change things around very fast. So that's how I see it, man. That's the potential of blockchain.
Yeah, building the ecosystem of the future that kind of creates those win-win solutions, like you said, it makes so much sense, and that's really where we're headed. Um,
True.
so then on the topic of elongate, what kind of piqued your interest or caught your eye on the internet when you discovered elongate? Was it the mission? Was it the community? What was it? What made you want to get involved?
To be real honest, a couple of months ago, I do not really care much about projects. I really did not care much. But then I realized that there are a lot of influencers or KOL or key opinion leaders, that are giving out very strange messaging and so forth. So I started to interact more, on Twitter with the community. Then as I start to interact more, I think I told you about this, Alex, as well, together with Lorenzo. is that I'm being flooded by messages. So ElonGate came up top during one of the week, and then I started to read more about ElonGate. Whenever I say being flooded is an understatement. It's not like what you see on the feed itself, But if you look at my DMs, at that particular week, because I opened up my DMs, I think ElonGate flooded a few hundred messages at least, over a period of time. So it caught my eye. I read more about it, and then I realized that ElonGate is not about Elon Musk, for example, but of course it's it's a very, very noble charitable crypto project. So it caught my eye. The good causes that you have done so far, caught my eye. And that's one of the reasons why I took up the call with you guys, because I want to see how far this organization can go, in terms of doing good for the for the global audience, for example, how ElonGate is able to influence people to help the movement, to help with the charitable causes. I think that is the thing that drives me to speak to you guys today, and also speaking to the community today, because I last count, I think you have about 400,000 this wallet holders, for your token, and then you have a very good active number of supporters as well. So I think it is going to be a good movement, based on what I see. And again, jumping around as well, is that I saw quite a number of questions, asking me about the price of ElonGate, is it going to the moon and things like that, right? I just want to take the chance to say this, although I don't really like to talk about prices and so forth, but I want to say this, is that it is not all about the price. It is about the good causes and the good concept behind ElonGate. By doing good, you are really contributing back to the society, and you are contributing as a person, in the crypto space. So whether the price is going up or not, I think to be real honest, it is immaterial, really immaterial, because if you look at this in the longer term, let's talk about 3, 5, or even 10 years down the road. If ElonGate is still around, you can imagine what kind of price impact that you can see, and you can imagine the number of good things that has been done throughout the years. Right now, I think it is less. I mean, it's just a couple of months, right? It is
right.
You can see the impact right now, right, Alex? People coming in, saying how they could help the project, and it is all over the world, So I think, again, this is a good case study. It is a very good media angle, for us to promote, to tell people what blockchain is all about. It is a very good angle to some of these current charitable organization, how they should see crypto. So those are these two. I mean, those are one big, perhaps we can talk about this for the next 3 hours kind of topic. How ElonGate, for example, can impact multiple industries, not just in the charitable space, but maybe also into the government space, for example, right? You can also look at helping other associations. So there's a lot of things that is going on, So I mean that's the starting point, to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the topic of sort of like where we are and where we're going, if you had maybe one piece of advice off the top of your head for the ElonGate team in sort of really growing the social impact movement, what would it be? And how does it? A lot of people have been wanting to ask you, Andy, like when we're in this bear market, should we be acting more aggressive or kind of waiting it out and timing things, right? And then in terms of growing the social impact movement across the board and over time, what would be your maybe number one or number two pieces of advice there?
Okay. Just to let the audience know, we are not scripted. Yeah. Just to let you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think that the advice could be broken down into three aspects. First aspect is that um, there is a need to let the mainstream media, know about ElonGate, right? Know about what ElonGate is doing. When I talk about mainstream media, I'm not just talking about the English media. You should look at how the Chinese media can help, and maybe how the other smaller languages, can help as well. So I think that portion got to be done very, very tactfully. It could be driven by an English team, but then messages will be translated into Korean, or into Chinese language, especially because I felt that the your current market right now, Alex, is very much in the English speaking world, right? You should tap on the Asia market. You should tap on a non-English speaking market, because that's a blue ocean for you guys, right? So that's the first
right.
first tip that I have in mind. The second part is uh, during this bearish market, because just to be honest, there are a lot of guys, including some of my tweets, I tend to say that, it is quite bearish right now. But if you compare this to 1 year ago, we are not that bad, to be honest. So assuming that we are in a bear market, very bear market right now, or crypto winter, like some people say, I think you should do more, to be honest. Whenever we say do more, again, to some of the people who are listening to or viewing the video right now, it's like, oh, do more means that the price will go up, right? No, no, no. What I meant when I say do more is, during this period of time, do more things that are more impactful, and try to tell everybody that although there's a crypto winter, but we are all still working, building on new products, for example, building on new communities, for example. Those things got to be in place, whether it's going to be a winter or not. If you are not going to do anything in the winter, and then let's say, example, next year it become a boomtown Charlie times, right? Let's say cryptocurrency or Bitcoin become 80,000, example. And if you didn't do all these things during the winter period, you are not ready,
Right.
right? So I think that portion is very, very important, during this period of time. I think CZ, from Binance, also kept saying that during the bad times, we got to continue to build, right? To me, you have to build a lot faster, than the rest. Those who can survive through the winter period and still around, usually, at least for the last few cycles, usually they become a big boy, right? So again, these 2 points are crucial. I think my third point would be something along the line that ElonGate should offer their experience and technology, in the months down the road. Maybe it could be in the form of wallet, it could be maybe in the form of a payment system, offer that kind of a solution, to the traditional players, or to the traditional associations or the traditional charitable organization. Because with that kind of mindset, you are already trying to connect everybody into blockchain using using ElonGate. And it makes sense, because you are not only contributing in terms of dollar and cents, you're contributing in terms of the technology, right? Because dollar and cents,
Right.
let's say you give away 25 grand, 50 grand, for example. To some of these foundations or to some of these funds, it's just money, and everyone can give them money. But if you can give them the solution, you can give them a new solution, I think that's going to be priceless for them. So these
That's
are the three
real. Yeah,
things. Yeah, these are the three things that I have in mind.
I
Again,
love
I have
that.
to tell the audience, this is not scripted. I told Alex, we just go freestyle. So
Freestyle.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's real vision. I love that. Thank you for sharing that with us.
No problem.
Andy, you're an accomplished author.
Yeah.
What I got to ask you, what is coming down the pipeline? Do you have any ideas for new books?
Okay.
What's next on your authorship career?
To be honest, it's long overdue. I was supposed to write a book in English, and then working out with a publisher in South Korea, for the second book, on blockchain. But because of COVID, everything stopped. So right now at this current moment, I'm really preparing another book about blockchain. With a possible angle of telling people what are the good use cases that you can have, in the very near future. Because in my last book, we talk about NFT quite a fair bit, and when we talk about NFT back then, nobody's talking about NFTs, So I want to spot another good trend that is in the market. To be honest, it could be along the line of maybe blockchain doing good, for the society, because if you look at many books now in the market, it's talking about the how great Bitcoin is, how the cryptocurrency can change the world financially and so forth.
Right.
My new book could be more towards the utility side of things, and also with a angle of blockchain doing more good, in the space. This kind of a topic, a soft topic, is good because it drives people back to the point and the main purpose of of us in the space. It's not about just money. It is not about the money. It is about the purpose. So that would be something interesting that should come out, in the next couple of months. Of course,
Yeah,
when it comes out, I hope ElonGate and everyone else could give a good support to that.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's been amazing talking with you the past couple weeks that we've been talking. I know that you asked for some questions from your Twitter audience. Was there any that jumped out at you that you wanted to chat about?
Oh, there are just way too many of them.
There's so many. Yeah.
Yeah, way too many. I think I could answer I could answer a few, in general.
Sure.
Some of them I really briefly talk about, in the past 30 minutes. Let me take a look at the post.
We've got lots of great comments coming in here on the live stream itself.
Oh, really? Why not this way, man? Alex, you choose something, anything that is palatable. I'll just answer them. I just couldn't get the screen up too nicely.
Yeah, well, I mean, one question is, people are asking when the next time we're going to talk about just crypto. When's the next time we're going to get together and just live stream and talk? So I think we can do this again. What do you think?
I think that's not a problem. That's not a problem at all. I have been asked to do Twitter Spaces, asked to host YouTube Live and things like that. Any time, as long as the time permits, as long as the audiences are there, why not? Let's do that. No problem at all.
Amazing. Yeah. We have some people here saying, let's see. Andy would love some more ideas from you about how the blockchain can be used for things like housing down payment assistance or other governmental help. Do you have any immediate thoughts on that?
I think in terms of the blockchain technology, to be real frank, in the very near future, we will not be talking about it. It will be embedded into the back end and doing its work. So for government, housing and so forth, right now, I have not encountered any government that is working on that aspects of things. But I do know that governments are using blockchain as a form, as a base technology for their ID, for their ID purposes, identification purposes. I know that governments are embedding the blockchain technology into their supply chain environment. So I think sooner or later, it will be, everywhere, because if you look at blockchain technology, in a very simple manner, it is like a database. It's an enhanced database. So I think it can be on anything. It could be on government grants, it could be on housing a location. And again, the fun part is all these things can be fully automated, through a smart contract, through a blockchain with the right variables. Everything can be
Sure.
automated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a great question here, Andy. Where do you see the ElonGate social impact movement in 5 years?
I think, I can't speak for ElonGate, as a whole, but what I can see, is that ElonGate should walk into the path of, getting yourself regulated, getting yourself to become a full charitable organization. If the anger is of such, I think in the next 5 years down the road, ElonGate will be the pioneer for the crypto giving. That's how I see it. In 5 years down the road. So, summary: to be regulated, to be registered as a charitable organization. A lot of things can happen. A lot of things
Yeah.
that happen. I spoke to Lorenzo the other day. I told him that there are governments, for example, in Singapore, where I am right now, they provide a 1:1 kind of a charitable means. So you contribute a dollar, they contribute a dollar. You could perhaps, for some of the initiative is a dollar, you contribute a dollar, they contribute $2. So if you look at this, and if you work with the correct governments, for example, coming back to the very first question, working with governments and so forth, your impact will be bigger because the dollar value becomes bigger, right? So that kind of mentality, will bring ElonGate very far down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that makes a lot of sense. I'm seeing a lot of questions here, and I want to pull one out here. It says, Andy, do you think that crypto or the blockchain will ever supersede fiat currency for overall purpose?
I want to be realistic. I don't think so. We can try as much as possible to stay on crypto.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm not sure where everyone else is. Crypto might not work. If you want to buy something, or maybe a street food or something. So I don't think that crypto is going to supersede. I think both financial systems will try and work together. And that should be the case. And to be honest, we should not be killing each other. Because in order for you to buy crypto, you still have to convert your US dollar or your Singapore dollar into crypto. Make your crypto buy, for example. Then if you make a profit, that's good. If you make a loss, okay. Then once you make a profit, perhaps it's time for you to cash it out, right? And then spend it in the real world. Because right now, for many people, practically, you will still need fiat, right? But you have to understand the other side of things is that, because there's a crypto and there's a blockchain element, in that question. But you may see that fiat systems, or fiat financial system, they might be using blockchain technology to do the clearance, to do the custodianship, So that is something already happening, but it's not happening worldwide, globally, for example. But you will, but at least I do see that governments are working on that portion of things.
Yeah, I mean, this is just only my opinion, but the way I kind of foresee it playing out is you might have these different governments and different regulatory bodies try to take a bite out of it and try to impose some regulations, but eventually I think they'll realize crypto is the way the world is moving, and they'll issue their own token that kind of complements and goes with their fiat component. What do you think?
That is very similar to what they are doing with their CBDC right now, but of course it's not crypto. Can they convert that into a cryptocurrency? Yes, they can. But again, I think the bigger nations, will not do that in the in the short time frame. Let's say example like maybe US dollar. Are they going to do that? I don't think so. It's the Chinese guys going to do that. I don't think so. But are they going to use the technology for their own good or efficiency? I think yes. So I think just to answer that question again in a different manner is that governments are trying to look at digital money, or how they frame it as a CBDC, central bank digital currency, as a form of digital money, something similar, to crypto, because everything is all digitized, everything is all perhaps minted in a fair supply and so forth. That's the short-term compromisation that you can see.
Sure.
So that's about it. That's about it. Yeah.
Pivoting back to ElonGate, I've got a couple people asking questions similar to this one. In your opinion, what are going to be some wins we can have to bring utility into ElonGate for making that social impact actually happen in the real world? And then actually any ways that we can improve on the business strategy?
Well, I think the 3 pointers that I gave out in the earlier conversation,
right,
sort of reply to everything, but I want to focus on the last point that I've made about technology offering. I think that should be a big part of ElonGate's business plan, or revenue stream, because if you have the technology, I think the example that I've quoted just now is more like sharing ElonGate's technology with the association, with the charities and so forth. But if you just imagine, putting it onto the point of sale systems, whenever people buy something, buy one, give one, for example, something along that line, they buy something, they give something back, and that whole system is already incorporated into your point of sale system. That kind of technology or that kind of input, creates a lot of new opportunities for ElonGate. So I think ElonGate, from a tech team perspective, they should start to look at things like that, to get more traction. And again, the reason why I mentioned about Asia, or maybe Southeast Asia per se, is that I think the implementation of new technology is a lot easier, in places like that as compared to maybe Canada or US, for example. It is not easy. So I think going back, my point number one is that you have to build more presence, in the Asia space. You have to talk to the mainstream media, not the crypto media, because the crypto media will be very hungry for you, if you are a star, in the mainstream media, right? So I think the strategy in terms of the marketing outreach, will change everything. And then the business output, for example, like what I've mentioned about the technology sharing and technology implementation, that will bring in more revenue for ElonGate. That's how I see it. And this is very, very similar to some of the topics that we shared, privately with Alex. Very similar topics. Yeah.
I want to pivot to a very, very serious question, Andy.
Wow.
Are you serious about liking pineapple on your pizza?
Yes, I'm very serious about it. Yes.
Me too. I think pineapple is great on pizza.
I think it's great, man. There's a Hawaiian pizza, with the with the pineapple on it. I think it's good, man. Why not?
I think now you have it. Now you have it. That is the official ElonGate stance that pineapple belongs on pizza.
Yes, man, 100%, 100% on that. And I like the serious questions, man. I like the serious question, Moon Man.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. A lot of people just here thanking you for sharing your knowledge. Really appreciate you being here. Yeah, so I mean, I know you have to go pretty shortly. You got your entire day. You got to get started over there. It's early for you. So, any last thoughts? Anything you wanted to touch on?
I think a few things that I want to say, really want to say, is that one, I think we should all support each other. You know, not just supporting me or supporting ElonGate. You know, we should support each other in the crypto space. You know, I give you for example. You know, there are projects that are good. There are projects that are good. You know, whether they are going to rug pull or not, I can't speak for them. But there are projects that are good. They have a good intention. You know, I give for example. You know, people show on my Twitter feeds very often. You know, there are good charitable projects. For example, Baby BNB or something. You know, they are also doing good. You know, I'm not asking you to buy the token. You know, because I'm not a seller here. But you know, perhaps give them a bit of a love. You know, telling them that, hey, you know, you guys are doing a good job. You know, you guys are doing a great job. You know, we are ElonGate. You know, we are the big brother of a charitable organization. You know, something along the line. I think that should set the tone that you guys are the big brother in the charitable world, right? That's number one. Number two, you know, I love to see more interaction. You know, whether it's going to be again on my own feed or on ElonGate feed. I think many times when I look at some of these posts, it is very price driven. You know, I think most of you should think about this in a longer term and not just about pricing, because there's no way we could control the crypto space in terms of dollar and cents. You know, for example, you know, in the earlier introduction, you know, I talk about Big One, for example. It is an exchange, you know, that is in the top 30, but on CoinMarketCap. But many of our English-speaking friends do not know about them. You know, so I think, you know, if possible, you know, I hope to see ElonGate working with more exchanges. You know, and be the leader in that space. You know, talk to new exchanges. You know, bring in new exchanges into the pipeline. You know, so that you can tap on new communities. You know, so the second point is to tap on new communities, talk to more people, and always continue to position yourself as a big brother. Last but not least, you know, on my personal agenda, you know, is I hope to see more people doing good using cryptocurrency. You know, in fact, I have a public address, you know, that is out there. You know, I constantly get some tokens and so forth, because you know, I got sick of it because some, you know, in the past I have other wallets, and then it's all flooded with L coins, you know, and I can't get rid of them, you know. So what I'm trying to say is that, you know, if you see people that are doing good, you know, help them and then do more good, right? I can only speak for myself, you know, like in that particular public wallet, you know, I get things like maybe $1, you know. But the thing is, when there are more people coming in together, you know, that could be $1,000, right? Is $1,000 a lot to me? I don't think so. But is $1,000 a lot to the community? I think yes, because those people on the ground, you know, they need that kind of money. They need that kind of actual food, you know. So what I do on a personal level, together with two of my other friends, is that, you know, we go on the ground. You know, we do not give it to the big organizations, but we go to the grassroots. You know, we talk to the community, and then contribute directly to them. You know, so I hope to see more people doing good, you know, in your own space, you know, in a good name of ElonGate, for example, or in your own very private capacity. Because maybe ElonGate is only looking at things that is 100,000, right? I'm not speaking for them, for you guys, but maybe, you know, through other means you are able to collect $1,000, and then you can contribute this back to your own neighborhood or your own society, right? That is something that we do, you know, on a very constant basis, almost every other day in the, you know, in the month. You know, we will contribute food, we contribute you know, meals and so forth. You know, those are the things that are impactful. You know, let's try and do more good, and then do more good in the name of ElonGate, do more good in the name of crypto. That would really bring us in the national level, you know, because these are the exposure that we need. You know, we do not want the mainstream media to talk about, oh, Bitcoin is going to be volatile, it's going to go down to 25,000, Bitcoin is shit, you know, Bitcoin is scam and things like that.
Right.
You know, all those things should be all covered up by, you know, or maybe superseded with the good things that we are trying to do. And that is how I see ElonGate, and that is also one of the very early reasons, you know, why I spoke to the whole team, you know, in the earlier days. And they're one of the few that I spoke to, you know, because I had very bad experience with some of them. So ElonGate is one of the last few that I spoke to, you know, to give my concrete advice, you know, my concrete ideas to them. And so far it has been good. And again, you know, like, nice to be online speaking to all of you. Although it's a bit early on my end, but I guess it's good. We could always do that, you know, every other week or every month, you know, to catch up and see what else we could do together. And last but not least, again, thank everyone, you know, on Twitter, thank everyone on the different social media platform that is supporting myself, supporting what I'm trying to do, and also supporting Alex and his team.
Thank you, Andy. I just want to do good work together, and I'm so excited that you're able to join us. Thank you for your generosity of your time here. It's meant a lot to us and our community and our team. So I'm going to let you go start your day. I'm going to have dinner. You can go have breakfast. How's that sound?
Sounds great, man. Sounds great. You know, I'm just going to do what I need to do in the morning. And again, you know, Alex and everyone else that's on the live stream, let's catch up on Twitter. Anything, you can just DM me, but don't ask me about, you know, the price or how are you going to the moon. Oh yeah, I answer one of them, and they say, how are you going to the moon? I say, just step out at night and look up. You know, you can see the moon. try to find it yourself. You know, because I think I can be there to answer some of the questions. You know, and if you are trying to get yourself into a certain project, or you do not understand the concept, you know, always DM me whenever I have time. On a daily basis, I do answer them, you know. And yeah, that's it, man. I think let's start our day or end our day wherever you guys are, and keep going, man. Keep going.
Amazing. Thank you, Andy, for sharing your time with us. Let's talk soon. How's that sound?
No problem. Let's do that. Okay.
Take care, Andy.
Bye, mate.